Welcome to the Magnetic Man podcast, where we help guys become men they can be proud of and attract women that they're proud to be with. And I'm super excited for our guest today, none other than Mr. Rupani. And he
Hello.
sure does know a thing or two about attracting women and being the right man that you can be proud of in the process. And I've been learning a ton from in the last year or so, and his depth and knowledge when it comes to man-woman relating, what is actually going on beneath the surface level of attraction, of dating, of relationships is second to none that I've seen out there. So, welcome to the podcast and great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. So, you obviously have area of many expertise. I know, especially in the sexuality realm when it comes to the area of BDSM. But what always struck me about you was your knowledge when it came to man-woman relating, even outside the bedroom, the energies involved, the archetypes that are involved. And one of the big archetypes that I hear you talk about a lot, and you have a workshop coming up on it, is the nice guy archetype. And this is by no means a good archetype for men going forward in terms of attracting women. But I just wanted to start off by asking you, like, what would be your definition of a nice guy? Because I think some guys hear that and they're like, oh, that means you should be an asshole and like you shouldn't be well-mannered. But I've heard you say it's not actually to do with that. So what is your definition of a nice guy?
I think the nice guy has several characteristics. I think the main characteristic is that it actually is not an authentic archetype. The nice guy is a put on. The nice guy is an adaptation. The nice guy is a behavioral adaptation. And its basic functionality, its structure is, who do I need to be to make you like me? Who do I need to be so that you will think I'm nice, you will think I'm safe, and you will like me? It is an approval-seeking energy, which is not a true masculine archetype. It's an adaptation. It's actually, if you go one layer deeper underneath this, under this structure, you can see it's a hustle. It's a hustle. It's a lie. It's a man hustling you, trying to make an impression on you that I am nice, I am safe, I am good. Won't you please like me? Won't you please, towards women, won't you please choose me? Won't you please desire me? None of that really works very well, because it may work with at casual level of interactions, but women particularly are not interested in men who are pandering to them, believe it or not. Just because women may play difficult and choosy and challenging actually does not mean they want guys they can walk all over, or guys who are like, please tell me how to be and I will be that so you will like me. They actually are not particularly aroused by that energy. This is why the nice guy act doesn't really pay off. If it paid off, you would have guys, the equivalent of pickup artists, teaching men how to be nice guys, because it gets them so much love and affection and eros from women. It is such a winning strategy. Come together, sons. Let me teach you how to be nice guys and get women and get all your desires met. It doesn't work. You've never seen anybody teach a class in being a nice guy because it's so goddamn effective. We only have nice guy reform schools where nice guys are like, this shit isn't really working anymore. And I don't even know how to stop. I don't even know when I started. But I clearly am not getting the results I am seeking. I'm clearly not getting the love, the affection, the desire from women that I'm seeking. So how do I cut this out? How's that for a starting definition?
It's a great start to jump off from there. And just from my own story, I remember I could relate to a lot of those points, and I think that's why I resonate with your content. Is like in the dating or the pickup space, they'll call them white knights, where it's like, oh, I'm not like your asshole boyfriend. I'm like the good guy, like I'll be there for you to cry on when he's out with some other woman, because you think she's complaining to me and saying, he's such an asshole. Why is he doing this to me? And then you think, okay, well, she's telling me she doesn't like him when he behaves like that. So I'll try and put on the facade of the opposite of that. But like you said, you don't have to go down that road for too long to know that it doesn't evoke desire. It doesn't evoke woman's turn on. Maybe you'll be a great friend. But if your goal is like, okay, I would actually like to attract women and interact with them, the niceness doesn't get you that.
I think a couple of things should be clarified here that
Mm-hmm.
actually the nice guy identity has very little to do with being actually nice, with actually
Mm.
being kind, with actually being friendly, with actually being compassionate. There's absolutely nothing wrong with any of those qualities. And then to the nice guy will make an false equivalency and say, "Oh, you want me to be an asshole." I'm like, "No. No, no, no. That is not the opposite of the nice guy identity. The opposite of the nice guy identity is a man who simply is authentic, clear, has boundaries, and he can be kind, he can have a gentle nature, he can be compassionate, he can be friendly, he can do things for his friends, for the people he cares about. But you do it out of friendliness, you do it out of the reciprocity of your relationship. The nice guy is running the nice guy act as a means to getting something else. If you truly just want to be there for a friend, even if it's a man being there for a female friend, let's just talk about the typical scenario. Yeah, you have a female friend who's gone through a breakup, and let's say you're consoling her. Can a man just be a human being and console that woman and be there for her as a friend? Absolutely, you can. But then you're not trying to get in her pants while you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not trying to score points while you're doing it. And you're not resentful when she does not return your kindness or your friendliness with desire. That's what the nice guy identity is angling for. I'll be there when the other guy leaves you, and then because I was there for you, you will then want me. You will then desire me. I'm like, that's a pretty creepy energy, actually. It's not a particularly manly energy. You want to be there for somebody, go be there for somebody. Right? You want to be kind to somebody, be kind to somebody. You want to be there when somebody's going through a hard time, be there when they're going through a hard time without an agenda. That's what true friendship is. That's what being a good man is about. Be useful. Be useful to the people in your life in whatever circumstance. I don't care whether she's going through a breakup, whether she is going through some other challenge in her life. Who knows? Challenges will come. Nothing wrong with men being good to women. Nothing wrong with men being kind to women. Do it without any cards up your sleeve.
Yeah.
And again, this false equivalency that, oh, if I stop being a nice guy, you want me to be some kind of an arrogant, toxic asshole. I'm like, no, no, no. This is a very false equivalency. I don't believe this equation. The opposite of the nice guy is not the asshole. The opposite of the nice guy is simply a well-balanced man who knows himself and has clear boundaries and is interested in creating healthy reciprocal relationships. He's not particularly arrogant or nasty or negative in his attitude. No need for it. In fact, the clear
Yeah.
boundaries you have, the softer you can speak in the world. You don't really need to emphasize too much.
Yeah, you mentioned it a couple times there, like being there for someone. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's almost like this hidden agenda. I know with my partner, she was like teaching English online, and she had a couple male students. And after about like 6 months or 8 months, one of her students like ended up like playing her a song on the piano and basically like telling her how much he liked her. And she was just like, hey, we just work together, like this is more of a professional relationship. And then he ended up like quitting all his lessons after that. So even though he was presenting himself as, no, we're just friends and I'm just here to help you out, like you said, as soon as the desire wasn't reciprocated, he's like, okay, well, I'm out of here. And then it was like, was that just a false front the whole time? And you mentioned being that strong man. I've heard you talk about there's a primality to it, where it's not about being an arrogant asshole, but you do need to have access to your no, which is something you talk about. And it seems like the nice guy, he doesn't really have that. He is willing to let people disrespect him. He doesn't respect his own time with women. And that seems to play out in a big way today.
It's a common part of the nice guy structure, that passive aggressiveness, that uh, I'm going to be nice to you and you're going to like me and desire me in return. And if you don't, you are the bad person now. I'm going to purchase your desire with my niceness. And no man has ever been able to purchase a woman's desire with his niceness. Women's desires don't really work that way. And once again, this does not mean women are drawn to assholes, but women are drawn, it's in women's interests to make sure the man actually is who he is saying he is. It is not in women's best interest to give in to hustlers. And the nice guy is a hustler. The nice guy is a liar. Then that's why he will raise red flags in women's systems. They will feel something is dissonant, something is not coherent with the nice guy. The nice guy often gives women the creeps. That's what the creeps are. They are the hair in the back of your neck standing up saying something is not correct. What this man is representing himself to be and what I am perceiving him to be seem to be out of alignment. So the nice guy he is his own undoing because he's inauthentic, and women are in the business of figuring out when men are lying to them. Women are excellent lie detectors. And they will figure you out sooner or later, and when they do, they're going to respond to the real you, not the presentational you. And the nice guy is a presentation. He's not a real archetype. He's not a real person. He's fake. It's a put on. It's a mask. And masks are lies. Masks are in fact dangerous because we don't know who the real person underneath the mask is. And that's why also the switching will happen in the nice guy. He will go from being nice to being aggressive, being nice to being nasty, being nice to finding you wrong. What's wrong with you that you're only drawn to assholes? They can turn nasty very quickly. Ask women, they'll tell you stories of nice guys when they take off their mask and they show you just how disgruntled and they are and how much charge they have been carrying against women for their entitlement. Nice guys are actually entitled, more entitled than non-nice guys. The non-nice guy will say, well, I'll approach her, see if she likes me. If not, so it goes. It's a free world. A nice guy is actually nice guy is running some kind of a game with you. And he's going to resent it when you don't fall for his game. So it's really not a good look. It doesn't really work. There are many other characteristics of the nice guy. We only talk about the nice guy in connection with women, which is fine. But in truth, I find all good male virtues, first and foremost, need to be tested and tried and developed in the tribe of men. You understand? All the shadow pieces that men are running, they are supposed to be called out, dismantled in the tribe of men. Nice guys don't get along with other men either. Men will get the creeps around the nice guy. Men will say, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I don't want him next to me. I'm certainly not going to connect with him, do business with him, collaborate with him, want him on my team, because I don't know who this guy is. I'm not turning my trust him. Nice guys will get called out in the tribe of men. Their bullshit will become magnified in a tribe of men, right? So often you will find nice guys don't have male friends. Nice guys hover around women, being nice. They actually don't sit in a tribe of men. That's a dead giveaway too for many negative male characteristics. Wherever you see a man who does not know how to lead and follow among a tribe of men, to me, that's a red flag. Right? And the nice guy really fits that bill. He runs in the shadow because he can't fool men. He doesn't have anything to offer men. Men are going to call him out on his bullshit right away. Right? Men will call out his inauthenticity right away. That's what men do with each other. We need to figure out who we are. Right? And the nice guy can't afford that. He's very timid. He hovers around women, trying to sell himself and his identity. And I don't want to demonize the nice guy too much, like he's evil or something. Many times, nice guys don't even know they're nice. Many times the origin of the nice guy really is in their childhood, in their rearing, in a consuming mother. So I don't want to say all men who may be running nice guy energies are demonic or deliberately manipulative. Sometimes they're just unaware. These are just adaptations they have made, thinking, well, this is how I get along in the world. Right? But it doesn't really work, and it's not really a great way to be. You mentioned in the beginning the word pride. I've never seen a nice guy who was truly proud of himself. It always feels a bit collapsed, full of doubt. And he's trying to make that self-effacement and that doubt like some kind of a virtue, which is not a good look on men. Have you ever seen a nice guy who was proud of himself? The energies like don't match up, right? He wants to get his way by being the quiet church mouse. That's his adaptation. I will not bother anybody. I will not get in anybody's face. I will get along to get along. I'll go along to get along. And hopefully I will be rewarded for it. Right? And in limited capacities, they might be rewarded for it in simple ways. Like if a nice guy joins some simple organization, he goes and does some volunteer work. And he shows up there every time on time, and he works hard and he contributes, and people will say, what a good guy. Right? Essentially nothing wrong with that, because the merit he's earning is based on his good actions. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But it's the identity behind it that's running the show, which can get creepy, right? And doing good deeds, let's say in a volunteering organization, going and doing some good work, volunteering your time 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours a week. And the people who are working there, like, this is such a good guy. He comes here every week and he contributes. He's a nice guy. He's a good guy. Good enough. But then what is the reward he's expecting? Right? If that little bit of praise and acknowledgement, fair enough. But then if he's expecting, because of this, women are going to fall in love with me or say yes to me when I ask them out, not necessarily. Right? Not necessarily, because what the selection process that women use to pick their men has a very long list of criteria. And niceness, basic decency is on the list, but a lot more is also on the list. And among that are things that the nice guy does not have, which is, I need a strong man. I need a man with clear boundaries, and truthfully need a man who is in touch with his dangerousness and has some protective instincts, which the nice guy makes a virtue of not embodying and displaying. Right? The virtue that the nice guy displays is, I'm harmless. I'm so harmless. I will never hurt you like all those other bad men. But the other bad men may turn on the women more, not because they're bad, but because they are strong. And selection is complex. It's multidimensional. This is where the nice guy falls on his face. This is where the nice guy kind of makes his gets his confirmation that, oh, women are drawn to assholes. No, women are not drawn to assholes, but they are drawn to strength. They are drawn to men who are assertive. They are drawn to men who are willing to fight. They are drawn to men who are not afraid to be disagreeable when they need to be, which the nice guy is not capable of doing. They are drawn to men who would be willing to fight for them.
Yeah. It's interesting on that last point that you said, like, fight for them. I've always reflected back on my teenage years, 19, 20, and I always noticed that my friends, if we did go out to a bar or something like that, not like in a crazy way, but I always noticed that the guys that weren't afraid to fight, like, normally had a hot girl by their side, and the
Yep.
guys that were like avoiding it, like, they normally didn't. And I'm not saying guys need to go out to bars and pick fights or anything like that, but when you talk about that strength or that protector or that dangerousness, it seems that
Yep.
something's really lacking in the nice guy. And obviously I know you work in the field, and I'm obviously working with men and more of like the dating space on the ground, and it seems like a bit of like an epidemic out there. It's not just, oh, there's these few nice guys that are battling. I see a lot of guys checking out, a lot of guys getting so discouraged because what they've been doing up until this point has gotten them nowhere, and they want to retreat to their home and binge watch
Yep.
series and binge watch video games. It's like they're checking out of the dating scene, and it seems like yeah, it's a systemic problem. It doesn't seem like an isolated incident.
It's not an isolated incident. Just a couple of days ago, I was talking to a young woman who was still in her 20s, and I was curious. She follows my work, and I was asking her, well, how are things out there? She's still in school in New York. And she was saying it is disheartening how unassertive the men are, that the men don't approach women, that even when women are like clearly giving them happy signals, like coming up to them, starting a conversation, sitting there and talking to them for 10-15 minutes. At the end of it, the woman's like, you're gonna ask for my phone number? I mean, like, at least make some move. But it's like the men seem so retreated, so scared these days, that it's like they don't even make that much of a move, even when women are making it very friendly for them to reducing the risk, right? I'm not going to talk about cold approaching a woman across the
Yeah.
bar, which I don't, it's not a big deal. You can just go say hello, give people a chance to say yes or no. What's the big deal? But like, even when women say, even when it's making it abundantly clear, we're at least interested in pursuing one more date or one more conversation, it's like the men are not taking the initiative.
Yeah.
And there is so much hesitation and lack of assertiveness in the modern man that it's like the women are asking, well, and they're also sympathetic, like we can kind of see how men have gotten this way. And then how are we supposed to be as women to actually find partners and mates? But I don't think it really works. I think the more assertive the women become, if women start chasing men, oftentimes the attraction doesn't work. Women want to see that the men have some degree of assertiveness, that they are willing to pursue what they desire, take some chances, take some risks, face a few failures. And that's supposed to be a good quality in a man, that he's not afraid to fail, he's not afraid to take at least a small chance. So I'm not in favor of going and picking bar fights. I'm not advocating that. I don't particularly think it's productive or a happy lifestyle. I'm not saying, go hang out with women who tell you, go beat that man to prove yourself to me. I'm like, no, sweetie, I have better things to do with my time than can go fight with other men for you. And yet, of course, if something is happening and there is a need for you to be assertive, to be protective, then step in and do your thing. Not advocating go out there and be a wild drunk cowboy, picking fist fights.
Mm.
But there is a happy balance between those two extremes.
Yeah. It was interesting to see you say like earlier, like, oh, like just go up, start a conversation. It doesn't need to be like a cold approach, but just going in there and initiating a conversation, it doesn't need to be a big deal. But it seems like for men today, like that is a really big deal. You know, I've worked with guys who've literally been in the army, who've been to war in Iraq and been shot at. And it seems like going up to a pretty girl that they find attractive and just saying hello
I
and
know.
starting a conversation causes all that fear to arise in them. There's like a fear of woman.
I refer to that moment in one of the Harry Potter movies, the one with
Mhm,
the competition and the goblet of
mhm,
fire, where Harry, in his first challenge, fights a dragon, and then there is a ball coming up, and the boys have to go ask women, and they're all terrified. And his friend says, "Damn it, Harry, you fought dragons. If you can't do this, who can?" And Harry says, "I'd rather fight dragons than approach one of these women." And it's a hilarious moment, and it's also a very true moment.
mhm,
Men are terrified of approaching women. It makes our heart race, but I think it's a good rite of passage.
mhm.
And this is coming from an introvert. I don't think I've ever picked up a girl, quote unquote. I don't think I've approached a girl and just asked for her number. I meet people in my community. I'm like, I'm not one of those guys, but you also should not be terrified of like going up and talking to anybody. Or certainly, if somebody gives you an opening and shows they're interested, that you can have a conversation with them. You should not be afraid to engage with women, even if you're
Yeah,
not a pickup artist and approaching 20 women a day or something. But
yeah,
I think that should be part of your masculinity. It should be part of your
mhm,
gauntlet.
mhm.
And it's good to get those rejections.
Yeah.
Right? I
For me, I
played
see
those
it.
games, like just
Okay.
sitting in Central Park, telling a friend of mine, "You see that girl sunbathing over there? Go talk to her." And the best of men will just, without hesitation, stand up and start walking. Make small talk. "Hello, hi, how are you?" Whatever you have to do. Tell them, "My friend challenged me to come talk to you. Mind if I talk to you for a couple of minutes?" Women are
Yeah,
friendly. Women like friendly guys. It's not a big deal.
yeah,
Women are not as scary as you let them out to be. And oftentimes, there are more beautiful girls sitting at home alone and wondering where all the men are than you would realize.
mhm,
Right? You would think all the women are taken all the time, all the beautiful women are just on lavish dates every single night. You would be severely mistaken.
mhm.
It's not the case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like in the modern time, like I don't know if it's an exact equivalent, but I almost see it as like that rite of passage and initiation. Maybe before, like you'd have to go kill a lion or go like live out in the wilderness. But now I'm like, oh, as a man, from that boy energy to that man energy, it seems that the
Yeah.
difference is like the man is not terrified of disapproval, which could also be seen as rejection. It's like, okay, like even if someone says no to me, I'm still okay. It might sting a little bit, but I can dust myself off and get back up again. But it also seems
Yeah.
like the nice guy who has this boyish energy, it's like getting rejected or getting disapproval from women is like the worst thing that could ever happen. So he never takes that chance because is he not sure of himself? And if a woman's rejection only reinforces his self image that he's a loser and he's no one, maybe this comes back to that pride piece that you mentioned earlier, where if you've built yourself up in the tribe of men and the world and your first kingdom, even if you do get a rejection, you're human, it might sting a little bit, but it doesn't rock you to the core of your foundation, which it seems it does for many men today.
I agree with you. I think men need to be able to be disagreeable when they need to be, and we really need a high tolerance for failure. And again, that doesn't just apply to our approach or connections with women. We simply need a high tolerance for failure. We need to be able to fail over and over again without letting it truly stop us in our tracks if we're going to build anything in life. It really go read any biography of any entrepreneur, any scientist, any innovator, any great businessman that you admire, and you will see the string of failures. Nothing but a string of failures till the success happened. But if they were If they had gotten stopped by one of their failures or even 10 of their failures, they would have stopped a long time ago before they ever reached any destination. Right. So it isn't, this isn't just some ideology. This is like, these are true and tried characteristics needed in order to lead successfully, in order to build anything in life. You have to be able to take chances. You have to be able to believe in yourself and make a stand. You have to be able to be disagreeable enough when it's correct to say, no, this is the direction I am going in. It's okay if you disagree with me. It's okay if you don't approve of me. I need to do this my way. And that if I fail, not a problem. Tomorrow is another day. If one person says no to me, not a problem. Tomorrow is another day. How many no's are you going to get in any business you start, any endeavor you start? If you're looking for money, for support, for collaborators, people will say no, 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 no. The no's don't count, the yeses do. Right? No filmmaker would ever get a movie made if they got stopped by every no. No actor would ever get anywhere if they died after the first audition rejection. Right? We know this at some level, but it's like we don't live it sometimes. We need that. We need the stomach for public humiliation, truly. We need the stomach to be humiliated and say, yeah, I'm not going to die. Get up and do it all over again. Yeah, this is why I highly recommend BDSM play to everybody. Everybody should try humiliation. Most certainly don't end up in the public sphere at all if you don't have a stomach for public humiliation, because they will humiliate you.
Mm.
There are
I see
people
you. I see you getting darts
20.
thrown at you quite often on your posts because
It's
some
not, and
people
it's
can see
just
it's
not just
controversial.
me. I'm like small potatoes. Look at how the
Yeah,
big guys do it. And
yeah.
in every, even to whatever degree that you're a public figure, they say the proportion of negative comments to positive comments is like 20-1. Right. So a handful of people know me, and yes, a handful of people write me bad messages. But the bigger you get in the world, that just keeps getting amplified.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's funny to, I'm sure you can find it. Go find a conversation between Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson on what they do with their negative mail, hate mail. And it's like in millions.
Mm-hmm.
It's in millions. They make a
Mm-hmm.
post on Twitter and it's like, oh my God. It's like it's like the demons from the sixth rung of hell just came up trying to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how do they deal with it? And God, they are nasty. They are
Mm-hmm.
personal. They go after you and everything, and your children and your wife and everything they can find. Yeah, if you're gonna let the world stop you, the world will stop you, right? Especially today. So yeah, nice guy is not going to the nice guy. People are not going to be nice to you just because you may think you deserve it. Go put yourself out there and be real and see what you survive. The world doesn't really
Yeah,
owe you anything. Nobody owes
yeah.
me anything. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes me any love and friendliness. People are who they are. It's really not any of my business, right? If anything, the nice guy identity kind of takes things very personally. The guy who's not operating under that false layer is like, it's every woman's prerogative to reject me. It's every woman's prerogative to say no, not interested. Why not? Absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen you've even got a meditation where I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically like a humiliation meditation where it's like imagine yourself,
Yeah,
no one cares
go
about
into your
you, everyone
worthlessness.
thinks you a
Exactly.
loser. Yes, yes. And I
Yeah,
remember
it's
listening to
very
that and I was like,
liberating.
profound. Yes.
It's liberating
Yeah.
because it will strip you down. Like, okay, now what? And I think I give a couple of answers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, are you still here? Do you still exist? Imagine the whole world hates you. Nobody cares. Women are not interested in you. Everybody thinks you're stupid and ugly and undesirable. What's left? Are you dead? Do you want to die? Are you done with life? Or you're like, yeah, Not really. I think I'm pretty okay. There's still a few things I like about myself. And
Mhm.
then after that, I would say, actually, are you still of use to anybody? Right? And I would say men really need to find their worth in their utility. Can you still do anything useful? Can you be a good pet owner to your pet? How about that? Are you a good
Start
dog
there.
owner? Are
Yeah.
you a good family member?
Yeah.
Is there a friend who thinks you're a pretty okay person?
Mhm.
Somebody that you can turn to, somebody who turns to you. That's the building block of what it means to be a human being. And to me, that is a genuine way of finding our worth, not by what people I don't know tell me or say about me. Start with the building blocks. Are there things you enjoy in life? Forget about everybody else. Do you actually even need other people's reflection to live? Are there things you enjoy? Can you spend a weekend alone reading books, cooking yourself a meal, enjoying your meal, watching some Netflix, and say, life is good? Watching some comedy on Netflix and laughing. I'm like, what else do you want in life? It's like we are so ungracious. Truly. This is why it might be useful for us to really put ourselves around sickness, death, and deterioration all the time to realize how fucking ungracious we are. Because we lose perspective. Our heads are so far up our asses that we always think we want more, we want to be more slick in life. I'm like, life is slipping from our fingers every moment. And our encouragement, this is why, if you've done my men's course, I'm like, I start my calls with a death meditation. I'm like, it's all gonna go. It's all gonna go. The day will come when you will know, I think today is my last day. Right. I think this is it. My body is giving way. You will know. Maybe you'll know, maybe you won't know. Some people know it's coming. Some people slip away. But let's say you know it's coming. That day will come. It's not far away. So knowing everything is going to be taken away, knowing everything is going to slip away, and we don't know what's on the other side of that void, if anything, why not incorporate that reality and allow it to give us perspective today? I think it's a great meditation to actually ask ourselves, who do I want to be? What is actually that important? Right? What's going to kill me? Something's going to kill me anyway, eventually. Is this rejection going to kill me? Is not pleasing this person going to kill me? If this person thinks badly of me, will it kill me? What actually makes life worth living? I encourage men to be philosophers. I think living like we're going to do this forever makes us stupid. It makes us idiotic. It makes us ungracious. Right.
And take everything personally at the same time. I think you've spoken about it before, and
Yeah.
you've mentioned it many times in this conversation. Like, you don't only become an attractive man when there's a woman in front of you. It's like a lot of guys are like not living their own life, not living authentically, in some dead end
Yeah.
corporate job that they hate. They don't have any male friends, and then they're like,
Right.
teach me how to get the girls, you know. But there's a lot more going on that the issues might manifest with women, but that's not necessarily where they start.
It isn't. This is why I encourage, if you've taken my dominant man course, you know that I create 6 kingdoms
Mm-hmm.
for different aspects of men's life. And your relationship with your women is only one of those kingdoms. So I think men who think all their life is about their relationships with women, I think they haven't individuated from their mothers. There was a time in our life where when our mother was our whole life, but that was when we were toddlers. That's when mother was literally meant mother was survival. So our world revolved around our mother for both boys and girls, right? We were very small, and the mother was the world. And it's a beautiful phase of life to go through, but you have to individuate from it. But this is why when I see men who are so preoccupied and all that is in front of them is either getting laid or pursuing women or drama with women, I'm like, what else are you doing in life? And this is why I also encourage men. Truly, if you have gone through a breakup, take 6 months off. Take a year off. No women. No women, no porn, no masturbation. Just what else is there to your life? What else is there to you? What else do you want to do here? right? And then oftentimes men will report that when I start to guard my attention jealously, when my attention is not leaking all over the place, here and there, especially on women, when I build a bit of a Shaolin monk, a bit of a Jedi energy, that I am going to decide what I put my attention on. And right now, actually, I'm not putting my attention on women. Oftentimes, women start being attracted to you, like, who's that guy?
Mm.
Right? Because they actually want to be with a guy who values his attention, who is in control of his attention, who is building something with his attention, who is not frivolous with his attention. And if coming back to the nice guy squanders his attention. He squanders his attention. He pours his attention where his attention is not actually being rewarded, and then he resents it. His formula is, if I give you more attention, you must reward me for it. And I'm like, the most of the women you're putting that attention on have never made that agreement with you. Right. And it's not a particularly good energetic loop for those men to be in. They would be better off if they really put that all aside and started focusing on creating other things in their life.
Yeah, I know we'll talk about it in a second. You obviously have a workshop coming up helping guys with dismantling the nice guy. We'll put a link below this video and also talk about it in a second. Just one of the things when you mention not valuing your attention, obviously with the men I work with, like boots on the ground, a lot of the way I see men not valuing their attention these days is with dating apps. Now, I'm sure you can meet someone and there is a way to do it, but I know guys who spend hours and hours a day swiping on these things. A lot of women will even, I've seen women blatantly tell guys, like, I'm not even here to meet someone. I just think this is fun and I want to see how many likes I can get. But because
Yep.
the nice guy doesn't have the courage to maybe start a conversation in real life, it's like these guys are wasting their whole lives on these apps. And I can see it affects their mental health, because the apps are hugely slanted in women's favor, and the guys who are doing
Yep.
really well, it's normally a top sliver. So all the nice guys who think, oh well, I don't have to talk to women, I can just go on these apps, like, it's actually, I see with a lot of them, it has like a downhill effect, and they're spending hours, and
Right.
soon it's going to happen like a slot machine, which doesn't, to me, seem like a good valuing of your attention as a man today.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And I personally have never done any online connections. I've never downloaded an app. But I would say, I don't know, maybe people do make good connections online.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say with anything you do, see whether it's working. Give it
Mm.
a try. Give it a try for a week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Put 5 hours of work into a dating app and see what results you're getting. And if you're not getting good results, realize, okay, well, this is a waste of time. Let's go do something else. I don't mind men trying anything, whatever works for
Mm-hmm.
you. I don't have anything against the technology of dating apps. Who knows, maybe it'll go through its evolution and it'll get better. I really don't know. But I would say for a man in any field and anything, he should see what's working, what's not working, and adjust. Where is my attention being rewarded? Where is not being rewarded? Where are my energies being rewarded? Where is it not being rewarded? I think with similar ideas, like I'm not against men watching porn, but then there are men who are really wasting their time and their life watching porn. I'm not against
Mm-hmm.
people enjoying erotica. What's wrong with that? But if
Mm-hmm.
you're doing it for hours a day while you're not working or not engaging in relationships or ignoring your real girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
then realize what's happening in your life and adjust accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I get a lot of uh, uh, coaching situations where couples come to me and the man is spending way too much time watching porn, and I'm like, how about we build some skills so you can handle your woman and have some interactions with her?
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's like, where are you building, where are you creating? And I think when men are caught in these ruts, when they're not building and not creating, essentially they are in a compulsion area. They're in a compulsion repetition area, whether it's watching too much Netflix, or whether it's video games, or whether it's porn, dating apps, I don't know, whatever else. But it's because they're not their energies are not directed in any place where they feel, where they have a vision. Their energies, their attention is not directed at any vision, right? If your energies are directed at a vision, then use that as your compass, right? You may say, hey, I'm going to try dating apps to see if I find any good connections. You try it for a week, like, well, this isn't working. Okay, I'll try something else because it's not getting me, my vision is not being realized. So when you're doing things that you clearly are not taking you anywhere, you're stuck in a rut someplace, right? You need to be rescued. You need to rescue yourself, or you need to do something to point your energies in some direction. You need a vision for your future.
Mm.
The happiest we ever are is when we wake up in the morning excited about what we're going to do that day. We are actually excited about what we are creating. We know we are midway in creating it. We already know we are heading someplace. We already know we have made some progress, and we are looking forward to making the progress of the day. To me, that's the happiest I am. I think this is the way happiest men are, particularly, where they are goal driven, where they are vision driven, where they wake up in the morning and they say, oh, can't wait to make progress on my project, my vision, the thing I'm building. That's a good day. To wake up in the morning and to like be excited about the actions you're going to take, that's a good day. Compared to waking up and like, how am I going to waste today? Right? What am I going to try to do to create pleasure today? I don't think it's a good way to live. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, it's like you said, just and we'll probably wrap it up now, but like the nice guy
Yeah.
almost has that eternal hope strategy where it's like, okay, well, I'm putting my attention here. Maybe it's a particular woman, maybe it's some type of activity, and they're not getting a return, but it's hard for them to cut their losses, to have that blade and sword to cut it and refocus their energies. It's like, I got to keep doubling down, and one day it's finally all going to pay off for me. And when it often doesn't, then like you see that swing from the niceness to the resentment, and then the shadow comes out, and then, not to get extreme, but like that's how like school shooters, like they operate, it's like they felt like they've been hard done by in the world, as an extreme example, but that's that swing that takes place from that niceness to the resentments.
I think that is where the approval seeking can turn poisonous. Because the equation I see, as you described just now, in the nice guy thinking, the nice guy mechanism is, if I do enough, you'll reward me. But in that formula, the reward is always with mommy. It's a boy's wish. If I'm good enough, mommy will love me. If I please mommy, mommy will love me. If I do this thing for mommy, mommy will love me. But then the power and the reward is all in mommy's lap. And if mommy gives it to you, you're happy. And if mommy doesn't give it to you, you're pissed. Maybe you try a little harder and then you fail again and then you're pissed even more. As compared to, I'm my own man. I'm creating something here. I'm going to build it. Even if I fail, I'm going to keep going. And when I build it, hey, would you like to come be a part of it? That's what a grown man's energetic should be. I'm building my life, and would you like to share my life? Would you like to come into my life and share it with me? Compared to, I'm going to be good so that you make my life meaningful. Women don't really want that kind of energetics with their men. The only kind of women who are going to say yes to that energetics are women who are interested in consuming you the way your dark mother was interested in consuming you. If you had a dark mother, she was completely okay with you living for her. She wanted to hold the purse strings of your approval. She wanted to hold the currency that you please me and I will say you, good boy. You please me and I will tell you you're a good man. You please me and I will tell you you're a worthwhile human being and you're on the right track. If you displease me You are a bad person, right? So I'm holding your paycheck. That's if your mother did that, and for many nice guys, that's where they formulated this energetics from. Your mother was a dark mother. She never let you individuate. She always wanted to dangle your approval, your self-esteem. She held the purse strings to your self-esteem. Do what I say, and I will tell you you're a worthwhile man. Displease me, and you're worthless without me. Okay? That's a dark mother. Individuate from that dark mother, move away from that dark mother. And if you're a grown man running the same energy, the only women you're going to attract who are going to play that game with you is the dark feminine. They will consume you. That'll be the femme fatale. That will be the consuming woman. It'll be like, here's a schmuck who's so dependent on my approval, I can just run him around the town, make him do whatever I want, because all I have to tell him is, good boy, good boy, good boy. You're such a good boy. Yeah, that man is not particularly admirable. Other men are not going to admire that man. That's why he stays away from other men, because it's going to be apparent what he's doing. And it's like, that's not very admirable. This is not the guy I want by my side, certainly when I'm facing challenges. Good.
It's really fascinating that like almost the energetic template maybe a man learned from his mother then becomes that gets projected on woman or girlfriend or the wife. And he
Yeah,
might not be thinking like, where does this come from? Like, why am I in this approval
yeah.
seeking loop with women? But it goes all the way back, and he wouldn't think, oh, it's because of my mother. But as you
No,
said,
yeah,
a
it
lot of
is
the time
very much. I
originates there.
believe the
Yeah.
origin of the nice guy oftentimes is with the edible mother,
Mm-hmm.
with the consuming mother, with the dark mother who wanted to continuously hold the purse strings of the man's worthiness.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you when you're being good. I will tell you when you're a good boy, a good man, a good son. My approval is what you should live by, right? So that's part of the conversation in the dismantling the nice guy teaching is it's yeah, we have to go in there and examine your relationship with your mother, and if it started there. Again, we don't need to hate our mothers. They were what they were. Sometimes even the mothers didn't know what they were doing. Many mothers thought that's what love was. Whatever it was, you need to sever those ties. You need to individuate from that. Otherwise, you're going to keep running the same pattern over and over. And
Mm-hmm.
any healthy woman who may be a candidate for bonding with you doesn't really want that energy. Doesn't want to run that energy on the feminine side, and doesn't want that approval seeking on the man side. It creates revulsion in women's system when men are that approval seeking. It violates hierarchy,
Yeah.
right?
I guess the
A man who
opposite end
seeks
of
their
that.
approval so much as their
Yeah.
child, yeah.
Yeah. The opposite end of that, I think I heard you speak once about, I can't remember his name, but it was Bush's vice president or the attorney general or something like that. And you said how on the surface he was a hard guy, tough guy, but I think you had some personal clients like mentioned to you, like, I hate that guy, but in my fantasies, when I'm aroused, like he's a man that pops up in my
I
mind,
heard
and that's
women
very
say that
different.
of Donald
Yes.
Rumsfeld.
Yes.
Donald
That's a
Rumsfeld, who was like the poster child for Red Wing Satan during W. Bush's era, when W. Bush
Mhm.
was going to war with the world. And Donald Rumsfeld, who is, even by my standards, like really too much of a hawk.
Mhm.
But he was a motherfucker. He was strong. He was a leader, and women would be like, yeah, he turns me on. I'm like, a surprise to me. These
Mhm.
are lefty women. And Donald
Mhm.
Rumsfeld, at least at that time, he's an older guy. He's not exactly a handsome, dashing guy. But I'm like, you women are weird, but women are drawn to power.
Yeah.
Women are drawn to power. Women are drawn to men who are decisive. Women who are drawn to men who can act, make difficult decisions.
Mhm.
It's always very
And if you guys
interesting
have
and telling.
enjoyed this chat today and you want to learn how to step into your authentic power, does have a workshop coming up called Dismantling the Nice Guy. I highly recommend everyone jumps on that. I want to make sure I get the dates right here, I think it's over 2 weekends, the
It's over
27th
two
and
weekends
28th of April.
online. Yeah, it is on Zoom. It's on the 27th and 28th, Saturday, Sunday, and the 4th and the 5th. So 4 sessions. and they will go from noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, New York time.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
the information for them is on my website at omrupani.org. You'll have access to the course material for 6 months. So there'll be modules, teaching videos inside the modules, and then our live calls where you can ask questions and we can go over the material.
Yeah. Highly recommend everyone jumps. We'll put the links to Om's workshops and to his website down below. You can click there and find it out. I think it's a couple $100 for the workshop and all the
It's
programs I've been involved with.
$395, which I
Yeah.
think is pretty reasonable by today's
Yeah.
inflation standards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a
Highly
second
recommend you
workshop I'm
guys
doing a
jump
month
on it.
later.
Mm-hmm.
A month later called Regaining Our Edge as Men. That information on that is also on my website. That'll be
Cool.
June 1st and 2nd and June 8th and 9th. Same structure, 4 online sessions. Each session will be a 2-hour call.
Awesome. Yeah, really looking forward to it. I'll definitely be there, and I highly encourage any men listening into the call to come and check it out. You won't be disappointed. So thanks very much
You
for
won't.
your time, Om, as always. Really appreciate
Absolutely.
it, and we'll do this again in the future.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.